All right, let me share my screen and get going. All right, so today we are going to be testing Wizard, or at least I think that's how it's pronounced, but I guess we'll find out. Um, so just to give a quick recap, I'm going to be looking at AI tools for UX designers. In fact, I'm actually going to just AI tools for UX designers. Uh, so I'm doing competitor research, just getting a understanding of the current landscape of um, AI tools for UX designers. Um, and here's a list of all the competitors that I have identified in this space. And these are the ones that I landed on. It's these eight. There's a couple that I'm starting to see bubble up more, and that I think I might actually look into. Like Replit is definitely one as well. Um, and then I'm just gonna type in Claude Code. I've like seen that talked about a lot too. Um, so yeah, if for some reason I get additional time, like I definitely want to test out Bolt New and Replit. But for now, we're testing out Figma Make, Framer, Lovable, Cursor, Uizard or Wizard, Google Stitch. Um, they recently acquired Galileo and then turned it into Google Stitch. Uh, Relum, Relum again. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think that we'll figure out. And then VO. And I was talking to somebody today, and they were saying that they pronounce it V0. So again, these tools are so new, like I just am not 100% sure the pronunciations of them. Um, so how I'm testing all these tools is I am creating a simple social leaderboard app for tracking and sharing movie watching stats from people's letterbox network. So the idea is that they would enter a letterbox username and it would generate a leaderboard of friends ranked by the total watch hours, and they would have the ability to share the results. This is designed for film lovers who enjoy a little friendly competition, and you would be able to have the board saved. You would be able to quickly share it, and you would have an easy way to see who's watching the most films for that week, that month, or the year. And so I have this prompt, and I'm using the same prompt across the board on all of them. Um, and so far, I have looked into Figma Make, and I have a video up on YouTube for it. And then I also have a video up on YouTube for Framer. Um, and I have like some conclusions here already. And then I've also tested out Lovable, and then I most recently tested out Cursor. I also have this matrix view, and you can see like Figma onboarding, Framer onboarding, Lovable, so on and so forth. So this is becoming like a pretty decent view. Um, and I also have over here uh all the tools and like onboarding, like who's doing it the best, who's doing it the worst, so on and so forth. Um, Here's how I am currently ranking the tools. Lovable, I think so far is in the lead. And then I also have this um, which tools are more designer focused versus developer focused. And then I also plan on copying and pasting the outputs into all of these screens and just to see which output I think ended up being the best. So TBD on a lot of this stuff, but today I'm looking at Uizard or again Wizard, I think, and let's get into it. So it is prompt based, lo-fi to hi-fi. So that's interesting. We'll see um, how you can go between lo-fi and hi-fi. It's good for, I guess, fast ideation, text to wireframe to prototype. Great for early phase. Sweet. And let me read this. Um, Wizard is an AI-powered design platform for fast prototyping of web and mobile UIs. And I guess we'll also test out like its native capabilities. And if whenever it says mobile UIs here, um, if that means like mobile web, like going into Google Chrome on your phone, or if it means mobile as in like iOS or Android. It can generate multi-screen designs from text prompts, digitize sketches, or transform screenshots into editable wireframes. Features include drag and drop editing, auto designer, wireframe slash screenshot scanner, and an AI design assistant for themes. Great for early stage ideation and MVP concepts. Exports to image and basic code snippets. Free plans available. Paid plan starts around $12 to $19 a month. Sweet. All right, let's go into our browser and just Google search. So one thing that I also want to do um, is I want to explore the education plans before I sign up just to see. Okay, so for students and hobbyists, okay. So they do have a student plan. So let's go back here and just go here. All right, they say Auto Designer 2.0 is here. The most popular UI generator just got even better. Turn product ideas into concepts instantly with Gen AI. Sweet. I like that. That kind of reminds me of Lovable, where it's like collaborative. Just kind of watching this video. So at least in this, it looks like it's like native iOS, so that's pretty cool. Um, cool. All right. I'm gonna click on sign up for free. And now I think that we can say that we're officially in the onboarding experience. So you could sign up with Google, with Microsoft, and a single sign-on option. So Again, anytime I see a single sign-on, I think that they're going after like enterprises or even like universities, or just education. So they're definitely trying to be a enterprise app as well. So we'll click on sign up with Google, click that, continue. Hi Alex, before we get started, can we send you emails and do you agree? So I don't want emails, but I'll click on that to agree. Hi Alex, we'd love to know a bit more about you. So visually, like this is like clean and minimal, but the visual hierarchy here is terrible. It's like all the same weight, but oh well, that's not that big of a deal. What kind of work do you do? I'm going to click on UX UI design. What's your role? Let's just say, I don't know. I could either put student or let's just say student. Um, as a student in UX/UI design, what are you planning to use Wizard for? Work, personal, nonprofit or charity, education. So let's just say education. What's your main study subject? Um, I mean, it's like, I guess, kind of design, but I'm just gonna say other, and I'm gonna put UX research and design. Um, Wizard is even more magical when collaborating with others. Invite your team. Cool. So you could um, have this app be collaborative. So that's cool. I'm going to skip for now. How'd you hear about Wizard? I'm going to say LinkedIn. What do you want to achieve with Wizard? Design a new mobile app or website project, redesign an existing app or website, ideate, brainstorm, and test design ideas, design a mock-up for fundraising or closing contracts. So I'm going to say mobile app. Um, so then they have the plans, design without limits. I'm going to click on the free plan. They have a pro plan for $12 a month, which is like pretty cheap. Like some other ones, they were doing um that's like if it's billed annually. And then for business, just $40 a month. So again, on the free version, it says it comes with unlimited free viewers/ commenters, 3 AI generations per month, AI engine, auto designer 1.5, 2 projects, 10 free templates. So I wonder if this is going to be similar to Lovable. And whenever it says 3 AI generations per month, like, does that mean like I can only prompt 3 times, or it'll be interesting to see. And also, they have this new thing, Auto Designer 2, which I'm not even sure what the difference between 1.5 and 2 is. But let's click on continue on the free version. Welcome to Uizard, Wizard Alex. Watch this 3 minute video. Okay, so like this is one of the complaints that I had on Lovable is you're just dropped in and and there's like no sort of education or nudging to watch the video on like how this all works. So the fact that you answered all these questions on the onboarding flow, and then the first thing that you jump into is this video on like a quick tour, or you can just like skip it and just continue. So I'm going to watch this video, and I'm notating that I appreciate that they give you this video on giving you a quick tour. And Figma, um, they don't have a video, but they have the tip kits like throughout the whole app, and then they have like a ton of videos and a ton of education material that they do like nudge you to. So let's click play.
Hi, this is Tony from Uizard. This is going to be a super quick tour of the Uizard platform.
Okay, so right off the bat, he's pronouncing it wizard. So yeah, that's how you pronounce it, is wizard.
Let's get started. To start a project using AI, you can use Auto Designer. You can select the platform you want to generate for, type your prompt, a dating app for wizards, witches, and people with magical abilities, and then specify the style you want your project to have. Here I can type it using prompt, or I can just use one of the example. I want this app to be purple color with a soft chill vibe, for example. And then I click generate my project and wait for the result.
A few moments later.
All right, we got our dating app for magical people generated, and so now I can extend my design through the drag and drop editor. I can just change the style easily through this contextual menu, or I can go into the more advanced design option here in the right side panel. I can also supplement this design using the library of components that Uizard has available, or library of template that Uizard has available in the left side panel. I can also supplement this design using the Auto Designer chat AI. So for example, I could select this screen here and then extend it further using AI. For example, create a button for users to join a previous conversation. Using design. And now I have my button for users to join a previous conversation. So you can extend this as much as you want. You can toggle into wireframe mode if you want to work in low fidelity, or stay in high fidelity mode. You can also create an interactive prototype by clicking on any component on the screen and then linking it to the next screen. This way you can create a full flow that's going to be interactive. So if I toggle preview, I am now able to interact and experience my app right there on screen as if it was already implemented and ready to go. You can, of course, invite your teammates to collaborate in real time inside of Uizard or to leave comments. You can publish your project to the web to collect some feedback, or embed it into other tools in your tool stack. You are also able to hand off your components as code in React, CSS, or export images in order to help developers take your project into production. That's it, folks. That was a super quick tour of the Uizard platform. So with that said, happy creating, happy designing, and take care.
Sweet. Man, before I'm even in this, I'm pretty excited. It has a lot of the features that I've been hoping that Figma Make or even Lovable had. But yeah, let's get started. So okay. Let's do mobile. So yeah, you can start from several templates. Okay. So it says, can't find the template you're looking for, generate it with Auto Designer. So I think that this is what I want to click. So yeah, mobile. Okay. So let me go and grab the prompt. Whoops. Design a native iOS. So it only allows a minimum of 300 characters. And oh, dang. So as far as notating like my prompting experience, the fact that they limit you to 300 characters is uh so that's already a terrible experience. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to open up ChatGPT just real quick. Um Make this prompt in 300 characters or less. Okay, so I'll click continue. Generate a style. It says use simple text to generate your project using Wizard's AI powered auto designer. It says generate a style. Um, Brand kit, which is an upgrade. So that could be cool. URL. So style wise, I want to see if we can get it from Letterbox. So I'll copy and paste the style from the URL. So that's pretty cool that um one of the like the very next question after you generate the prompt of what you want to create, the very next question is basically what do you want it to look like? And you can have it um like create the style based on a screenshot. Uh what does the screenshot do? Okay, so you just drag and drop a screenshot, and it like also it says that you can like have a mood board, so that's kind of cool. Or you can have a prompt where it's like uh and like you can even select like light, dark, modern, artsy, techie, young, corporate, formal, elegant, hand drawn. So you could select up to all of them. um and then you also have this brand kit, which is pretty cool. But it's only available for the business or enterprise plans. And then they have the URL, which is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to enter the Letterbox website, and then I'll click Get Website. And it's currently fetching the website, and it says it might take a few minutes. So we're waiting on that. Cool. And then I'll click on generate my project. It says auto designer is generating your project. It might take a few minutes. Then it says, did you know you can invite friends and colleagues to collaborate in real time? Um, okay. I didn't even get a chance to read it, but that's fine. So it It's loading the designs. And the first thing that it generates is a lo-fi wireframe. And these look like actual like sketches, which is not like a bad thing, but it does feel a little bit like um unnecessary. um so one thing that I definitely want to do is to try to get this into the dark mode. By default, it is oh, and they also named it automatically and they called it watch leader. So that's pretty interesting. Um I'm not seeing. Oh, here's my settings. Um okay, there's dark mode. I finally was able to find dark mode. Um it's a little bit frustrating that it doesn't default to the system settings and that the default setting was light mode. And it was also kind of frustrating how difficult it was to find dark mode. It's a small thing, but if I'm going to really like a tool and want to use it, I want the ability to have dark mode. And I'm glad that they do have dark mode, so that's awesome. Um, okay, so I guess we could even consider this still part of the onboarding experience. This part reminds me a little bit of Framers onboarding, where they had the checklist on the right side. And over here, it says create a new project, which we've already done. And it says add a template, spark your creativity with our templates, add shapes, images, icons, buttons, and more. It says show me where. Okay, so it's saying that the templates are over here. Okay. So these are just the wireframing templates. So I do like how much they have, like how many like templates or like components that they have. Um, because if this is like truly like a great like ideation tool, I also like that we can just drag and drop these components in. So that's pretty cool. Then it says add a new screen, which has already been done. Then it says chat with AI. It says chat with Auto Designer to bring your vision to life easily and quickly with AI. Okay, so yeah, it has Auto Designer 1.5 and then Auto Designer 2. And I don't even know what the difference between 1.5 and 2 is. Um, okay, let me look at this prompting window real quick. So you can start a new chat. Quick start. What is quick start? I don't know. Then you also have history, and then you could pop out this chat and make it much larger, which is pretty cool. So I'm just gonna click start new chat. And then you also have the ability to modify selection. Okay, here. You can generate screens, generate images, or generate themes. What should I pick? Okay, so it basically explains modify selection is ideal for tweaking existing designs to perfection. Use this when you want to refine or alter specific elements on your canvas, such as changing colors, adjusting layouts, or modifying content. Um, Perfect for quick adjustments that make a big impact. Generate a screen perfect for creating full interfaces from scratch. Choose this when starting a new project or when you need to expand your application. Um, with additional screens, ideal for both high fidelity prototypes and initial concept explorations. Generate an image. Use this to add custom images to your design, whether you need a photo, illustration, or a 3D model. Just describe what you envision and let Auto Designer do the rest. Great for personalized graphics that make your design stand out. Then it says generate a theme. Select this to create a cohesive style across your projects. Define your colors, typography, and UI elements to ensure consistency. Especially useful when you want to set the visual tone of your project right from the start or revamp it with a new aesthetic. So on the tips, it has this carousel that automatically rotates every few seconds, and it's going before I finish reading it, and then I have to go back to the next screen, or like I have to go back to the previous screen, and then I like lose my position. So that's annoying. Like I get that they're trying to create less clicks and less friction, but it's actually causing more friction because I'm having to go back, and it feels like the opposite of giving the user control. It feels like it's getting in the user's way. So this is a pretty interesting um prompt window. It feels unique and different from other prompt windows. It feels a little bit kiddish, like it felt like Lovable and Figma Make were like professional and like and then this just feels a little bit amateurish. And this is like the UI or UX itself. And again, there's nothing wrong with it, but it just it feels a little bit kiddish or childish. And then it also says on this like onboarding, like add an interaction and then preview your designs and then don't show this again. Uh okay. So then over here you can add a new screen. You can look up templates, different shapes. Oh, that's weird. So on templates, if you are in the shape section and you click see more, like this shape click is like the same. And then text, images. So that's cool. They have Unsplash, Giphy. You can upload or even generate images that you can use like in your app or website. Icons. So this is pretty cool. It almost feels like Google Material design icons, but like built in. But I'm guessing it's like just their own. And you can have the icons like filled, outlined, sharp, round, or two-tone, which is pretty handy. Again, if you're like just using this for ideation, like having those like type of tools like will be really handy. Then you have buttons, which again, the buttons and shapes as their own um like category, even though it's like a subcategory within template. Um I don't know if that would be helpful or what. Then you have form, which again is like the same thing with buttons, shapes, and then form. It's all like a subsection within templates. Um, but yeah, the form that's also pretty helpful on the brand says create blank brand kit. Okay, so the brand kit again is like part of the business or enterprise plan, which could be helpful, but I know for me at work, um, we've like invested so much time of having our design system within Figma. And I know that Wizard is like a direct competitor with Figma, but the fact that they don't have a Figma integration, it just tells me that they're trying to have like a closed ecosystem, like everything is done within Wizard. But I feel like having the brand kit only on their site feels like a hard sell. Or yeah, and if they had a Figma integration, maybe this could go from ideation to maybe a little bit more. And then they have another thing over here called Magic, which is, I guess, just like AI, which this feels like under this like auto designer, like where they have modify selection, generate screens, generate images, and then generate themes. So they have all four of those that's in the prompt window. But then they also have generate new project. Then they also have wireframe scanner. So it says that you can turn your hand drawn sketches and wireframes into designs. So that's pretty helpful and pretty handy. And a screenshot scanner. So that's also pretty helpful and pretty good. Uh, Wireframe mode, render your designs as a hand-drawn sketch. And then design review, predict where users will focus their attention the most. Text assistant, generate alternative copies for your design in seconds. And then image assistant, find alternative images for your design in seconds. So that's pretty neat. Seems like they have a lot of AI capabilities outside of just um, prompting and it coming up with like it feels like um, it has a lot of useful and helpful features, and not even just like their additional AI capabilities, but the fact that they have like the buttons, icons, images, and I know that like Framer has that too, which is one of the reasons why I do like Framer. But this definitely does feel a little bit um, user friendly than Framer. But Framer does feel a lot more um, like less like ideation and like for like an actual like website. So again, this could be like a really helpful just ideation tool in general. Okay. So I'm actually going to close out a letterbox. Okay, so then over here, you can rename it, give it a description, make it private, or actually, you would have to upgrade to make it private. Uh, so again, everything is public unless you upgrade and then use this project as a template. And then it also has this component used, and right now it's at 386 out of 400 components used, and it says the free plan is limited to 400 components. So, um, I don't know if that's a good or bad thing that like just from one prompt, um, it already generated basically the free plan. So it's like basically you can expect that whenever you have it generate a design and like it designed like several screens, like it designed like a home, like a welcome, onboarding, home, search, notifications, stats, profile, home screen, leaderboard, stats screen, save leaderboards, screen settings. So it still generated like quite a few screens. Um and so yeah, we're already basically at max components. Then, if we continue along this toolbar, um, it's currently in wireframe mode. So I'm actually excited for the grand reveal because right now, this is what the output looks like for interactive prototype on the wireframe mode. And then this is what the additional design proposals look like also in the wireframer mode. So let's flip the switch for the grand reveal for mockup mode. Okay. Um, if I'm just looking at this, I'm like, so I can't look at this screen unless I have an upgraded plan. So I would say that the initial like comps and designs are honestly not that good looking. Um, but I mean, this is like the general concept where you enter the name. I would prefer these to be toggle switches instead. And then yeah, you generate the leaderboard, and then it has like first, second, third, but this just feels like not super great for it being like high fidelity. And then they do have the filters for daily, weekly, and monthly. Um, and then this total watch or total hours watch. Um, so yeah, and then I guess this would be the like sidebar where you can like view it or delete it. And yeah, so I don't know. I'm honestly not impressed with the output. Like even though I can't uh view these like full, let me just see. So yeah, it does have this onboarding. And like this level of ideation, if I'm being completely honest, just is starting to feel more and more like useless. Like whenever I know what Lovable and even Figma Make can create just from one prompt. And it's like I would almost rather ideate like starting with that instead of starting with this. Um, I would say that this is like a poorly executed high fidelity um mock-up, and I'm almost like like the wireframe like could be helpful if you only want to have the focus be the wireframe and you're not concerned about the style itself. But again, I'm just like at that point, like this just feels like almost like a waste of time. Like whenever you can just be in Lovable or Figma Make. Here, I want to keep looking at this. So then it has search, notifications. So yeah, not really impressed with the initial design. Um, has an undo redo button, the zooming functions. That's weird that they have a whole dedicated section for like just this. I'm like, just use the space bar. Um, then yeah, you do have like comments for the collaborative features. You could share this, share, publish, embed. It's kind of cool that you can embed projects. Um, and then you have export. Says welcome to handoff mode. So again, you can only export PNG, JPEG, SVG, and PDF. Um, but if you want to export to any code, you have to upgrade. So I feel like that's also a poor experience that like you have to upgrade in order to like. I'm starting to realize that their free version feels like it feels like very limited. Um, but what I will say is this is the first time that I've seen the ability to export to SVG. And I know that you could import SVG files into Figma. So, like, you can't export to Figma exactly, but you can export to SVG and then import that SVG into Figma. So, so far, this is the closest that I've seen to be able to export into Figma. And so I could see a scenario in which you're doing like the wireframes in here, um, and then you export the wireframe as an SVG into Figma and then like build it out there. Then you also have settings like for this project, which the settings seem not robust at all. Like you can only adjust the snapping guidelines on or off and then edit the project details, which is just the name and description. Um, so then now I'm going to click preview. All right, it says this product design preview works like a real app. Just scroll through the screens and click on the core elements. Got it. This interaction does not feel smart. Like it feels like everything it's clicking to um yeah, I'm like clicking through the interactions, and like some stuff was like linked up just by default, and I would say that the interactions do not feel smart to me. Um Here, I do want to preview the app. Yeah, this man, I feel like I had high expectations for Wizard, and like this there are a lot of cool features, and honestly at the end of the day, I think that something like Lovable or Figma Make, or even just Figma, even outside of Figma Make, will take notes from Wizard's like features and integrate some of them and just make them completely irrelevant. Um, yeah, there's like a lot of like cool features, but just the execution just feels not good. I want to do this real quick. I want to like try to make an edit here. Um, for this section, I don't want to use radio buttons. I want to use toggle switches. So let's see how well it executes on this. So it does make the changes like pretty fast, and yeah, this is what I want in like Figma Make or Lovable, to where you can like literally drag and drop, or like not drag and drop, but like drag to make a selection, and then like edit it, or like the thing that I like right here is that I could move this toggle switch like over here, and then I can move followers over here. So like I can actually edit this design just from selecting it and moving it around the screen. And I can also edit it. I can select elements. And I know that like in Lovable and Figma Make, you can select it by like selecting like the div tag or like the sections. But then it just feels like you're more so like focused on the coding part of it, and like less on the design part of it. Um, so I do want to look at this. So you can update the button style. You can add an icon. And then you can make the icon like left, right, top, or bottom. So that's pretty neat. Then they have more options where you can align it, um, send the components like to the front or back. You can make elements stick. You have the icon that you can change the text. So again, I know like in Framer, it's like the most like robust thing, like where you can edit like after the fact, like the actual design itself. So that's like really cool. Um, and I do like how lightweight it is, but it is also it feels like pretty robust. And I wish that um like Figma Make and Lovable had those capabilities. Then you could also change the fill and then the button size. You can make it extra small all the way to large. Um, and then yeah, you have interactions over here, screens. Not sure what this is for. Like, how is this any different than just looking at the screens? Handoff. Okay. Then they also have this help, and they have what's new, shortcuts. So I feel like there's a lot of potential here, a lot of good features. I feel like poor execution, and like I said, it also feels like a little bit childish. And I do like this if you are thinking of like ideating or um like coming up with some wireframes, but after seeing what Lovable and Figma are capable of doing, it almost just feels like ideating with wireframes like this almost just feels unnecessary, or like you're trying to do a like a current method that's about to be outdated, and you're just trying to make that outdated like exercise like cool. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but this just feels like there's a lot of potential here, and that I don't know if this is ever going to um be like my ideal like app of choice if I were to ever um like think about like tools to use. Um yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else that I might want to. You can set as home screen, you can rename it, duplicate it, change the background color, copy the direct link. So it does say like add a template. So a part of me, I don't know, I'm just gonna drag and drop button. See, it also just feels weird. They're saying add a template, and what this really is just a component. This just feels like the worst version of Figma with a lot of like potentially like great AI features. Um, but like poor execution on the high fidelity. Hey, I want to like see. I don't know. I just want to see like how easily you can replace images, and it's honestly like pretty easy to replace images. So that's pretty cool. Uh, there's like there's like so much to love about this, but it's just not. I don't know. Here, I want to see if I add another component, if it is added up here. Oh wow. So yeah, this wasn't just one component, like this was like several. See, like I said, I was like, these are just components, and I don't know why they're calling it templates over here. Like to me, a template is like the whole page, or I don't know. So I find it odd that they are calling components templates here, but then they're properly calling it components at the top where you have like the component usage percentage. Um, oh, look, you can import screens from Figma. And I like just now saw that. Oh my gosh, you can import screens from Sketch or even Adobe XD. Like, like nobody uses Adobe XD, and Figma basically has replaced Sketch. And so it just feels like I don't know, it just feels like they're like out of touch with the times. It's so weird that you would include Sketch and Adobe XD, but I don't know. But it is weird that like I've been looking at this for however long, and I just now am noticing this Figma integration. It definitely was not immediately obvious. Whoa, what just happened? Figma just launched me straight into Figma Make. So I have Wizard here, then I clicked run. Yeah, this review says it's really rubbish and hard to use. Interesting. I also wanted to see exporting to an SVG. Okay, so export SVG, export. Oh, you can't even export SVG files in the free plan. You have to upgrade your plan to Pro. That's annoying. Uh, that's really frustrating that they don't allow you to export even just an SVG file. Can you even export like a PNG? Yeah, they allow you to export a PNG. What about a PDF? Yeah, they allow a PDF, but for some reason they won't allow you to export an SVG file. Uh, all right. I'm going to export these screens. You can't even export at 2x. All right. Let's see. I'll add those on the generated output, but all right, let's dive into this. So onboarding, um, you can easily sign in with Google. You can sign in with Microsoft. You can do a single sign-on Um, and then you go through um, some questions. And again, these questions also didn't feel personalized questions. They just felt like gathering data on the user. Um, and I will say that dropping you into a video was really nice. And it was also like good that they had the ability to easily skip that. Um, and they did have a free plan on the student plan, but I will say that um, it does feel very limiting on the free plan. Um, and then once you um, like create your project, I like that they first ask you what you want to create by entering the prompt, and then they um, ask you like what you want it to look like based on either like a screenshot, the brand kit, which is part of the pro plan, um, or you can like copy and paste a URL for them to like reference. And I was like excited. And the reality is that it ended up not looking good at all. Um, but then once you are in your project, it does have like a checklist on the side for you to go through. Um, and so it was like a pretty solid onboarding overall. Um, I would say the onboarding was like a 7 out of 10. The prompt experience, um, so it was unique and it didn't feel like the other prompts. Um, but yeah, that was like the biggest complaint was on the initial prompt. They limited the prompt to 300 characters, which in my opinion, based on the output of what they created, it definitely feels like they could um, expand that limitation to make it longer so you can actually be more specific. Because they were saying, like, oh, like, we don't want you to be so specific. Like, let us handle it for you. And I now know that I wouldn't trust them to handle it. So, big problem for me, limiting it to 300 characters. But I do, like I mentioned, I did like that you start off with a prompt, um, or like you actually had an option. You could start out from a template, or you can start out from a prompt. So I did like that. You could like once you did start with a prompt, that the next question that they add or that they asked was um about the style and the look and feel. Um, and so that also felt unique, but I guess like in other experiences, um, you could just put that in the initial prompt and just upload an image. So it did feel like they were trying to cater and be more personalized to designers or people that didn't know to even ask about the style. Um, and then as far as like quality versus expectation, um, it did not do a good job at executing on the output on the first go. So I would say its accuracy felt pretty low. Um, I like I had mentioned, I do feel like it was unique and it had a lot of interesting features. And I mentioned a lot that it also just felt like childish, and that other apps just came off it appearing way more just professional. Um, and the childishness carried through in the output. It just felt amateur. And I don't even know if I would personally use this for ideation. So, prompt wise, I would almost give this. Um, what did I give Framer? I gave Framer a 6. So Framer, their prompt was like bare bones, like just text, and that was it. But this one, I'm gonna also give it a 6 out of 10. Like they had a lot more features than Framer, um, but at least Framer, like it, I don't know. I don't even know how to like properly like compare the two. But the UI UX of tool itself, the usability. So like right off the bat, it doesn't default to dark mode and it doesn't default to like system settings. It like defaulted to light mode. And then also the first thing I clicked on was settings, but that ended up being the project settings. So then it ended up being honestly difficult to find where dark mode was. Um, so that was like my first experience off the bat, and it wasn't good. Um, just the UI of Framer itself, that like I keep saying over and over again, it just felt amateurish. It felt childish. There was also like some weird quirks, even in their labeling, like calling it templates in some sections and then calling it components in other sections, and saying the word templates like feels really weird. Um, Considering it felt like they were just components, and in other sections like they even call it components. And then there's also some like quick and easy access to tools like on the left sidebar, that were also embedded in the components. So it also felt like a little bit redundant, even though I understand that they're trying to be helpful. Um, and then um, like they did have like a lot of great AI features outside of just prompting. Um, and then the exporting feature, um, you could only export PNG, JPEG, and PDF, but you had to upgrade your plan um, in order to export to SVG and to get code snippets. Um, but it's like I don't even know why you would do code snippet, um, because it just feels like this is not something that I would want to be turned into code. So as far as like, yeah, like it felt like I would honestly give it a 5 out of 10 on the UI UX of the tool itself. Um, the generated output, the wireframe quality, like I mentioned, you can toggle between high fidelity and low fidelity. And on the low fidelity on the wireframes, it looked like it was trying to be like low fidelity, like sketched out wireframes, which could be cool in the right context. But the high fidelity wireframes um were not good. Um I did like that you could edit it as if it was like a design tool. Um and then they did have like built-in interactivity, uh more so like typical prototyping interactivity that you would see in Figma. Um and then the actual like usability of the generated designs, like would I use any of them? Honestly, no. Like there's like some even or like there's like some other instances or uses where maybe it's not like quite right, or maybe it's just like the wireframe, but none of this like I would use. Like I feel like the quality is just like so poor and so low that I just wouldn't find these useless. So generated output, I would give like 5 out of 10. It's like average. Customization and control. How much can you refine the results? Um, I did like that you could like point and edit and then prompt it, or you could like just drag and drop the elements like on the page itself. They did have a brand kit, and then they also had the ability to import Figma screens, and like you could edit easily. Um, but it just is if if the right context is like low fidelity wireframes, um, I don't know, like just like it's like yes, like they're giving you like a lot of control, but um if you're starting with like such poor designs like from what it generated, then it's like it just doesn't even really matter. So I'm still going to give it an 8 out of 10 because like they do give you a lot of control, um with being able to point to something and then modify it through a prompt, or you can like drag and drop elements. So it's like what I would want in Figma, but like just like executed at a much higher level. So export, um, you can't export to Figma, but you can export to an SVG, which is the first instance that I have seen of this. And but you can't get the SVG unless you upgrade your plan. And then also it does generate code snippet, but again on the paid for plan and not on the free version. And so they do have these capabilities, and they do have like a an ability um to publish it. Let me let me publish. Um so yeah, like whenever I click on it. So yeah, it just all feels like all these like cool features and even new features, but just also executed so poorly, and then also limited to pushing you to the paid for plan. So Um, Overall score, I would give a 6 out of 10. The best use cases. So yeah, like you can do early ideation and wireframing, but like why would you want to at this point? Like the output is like so bad. It's like with Lovable, like I just am like, yeah, I would want to prototype that, get some ideas out there because the ideas that it's producing is like actual like solid results, like stuff that's like usable. Um and like yes, this like can have like prototyping, but it just like doesn't make sense to like even like do it at that point. Um Production ready builds, I don't know. I just feel like it's like even Cursor, like even though that was like one of the worst outputs, I still felt accomplished doing it. And it's also like if I can imagine if you're a developer, um, like trying to do this, that it's like a good version of that. But I feel like this is the most designer focused. Like it's like almost tied. It's like tied with Framer, but it has more AI functionality. But the execution of it is like so far below Framer that it's not even funny. Um, and so yeah. So the paywall friction. So I didn't run into like I mean I guess I did run into like paywall friction. Like I could only use 400 components. Um, they did have a Figma import feature, but it didn't even work. You can't export code or SVG files unless you have a paid for program. Um, and then there's like several other instances to where I just like quickly was running up to like upgrade to this pro plan. Oh yeah, the brand kit like you couldn't use unless you had like a business plan. Um, Even if I did upgrade, I don't think that this would be worth it. Um, and it was like somewhat affordable, but again, I don't think it's worth it. Like I would almost give this a 4 out of 10. Man. Overall takeaway, would I use this again? Honestly, no, I don't think that I would, nor do I think that I would recommend it to anybody. Uh this tool, it would be best used for ideation. It's far from production ready. Um, I could see this being useful for a like a HCD like workshop session where you as like a UX designer are facilitating and you and your partners all have access um to Wizard. And because like you they do have like a collaboration feature, I could see this honestly being more useful for like like product managers who can easily drag elements around or like generate new ideas. And um so yeah, like I could see it being helpful for that, but I just I feel like there's other tools out there that I would use even more so than this. And like I mentioned also before, um, it just felt childish. It felt amateurish. It didn't feel like it was well executed. Um, I did find it cool that you can export to an SVG file, but if what you're exporting is like poorly executed, like generated screens, then it doesn't even feel worth it. But it does give me hope for other tools like Figma Make and Lovable to also have an export to Figma or even an export to SVG. Um, but I don't know. You can also take what I've said in other areas um, and include it in the overall takeaway. But overall, not the best tool. And I liked a lot of the features, but like I said, everything was just, in my opinion, like poorly executed. So I think I'll just stop the recording there.